Good morning. Thank you. Please silence all electronic devices for the duration of the meeting. Welcome to the April 15th, 2024 Finance and Audit Committee meeting. I'm Councilmember Gil Schusler, and I am the Finance and Audit Chair. The meeting format is hybrid. Quorum is physically present at the HART Administrative Offices, 1201 East 7th Avenue, Florida Conference Room. The rest of the board members are participating via communication media technology. Please look at the screen of your devices, and if you can, please stand for the image of the flag is displayed. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. We will now accept public comment. There's no one scheduled. Is there anybody here for public comment? Appearing to be none. Thank you. This concludes the public input section. I'm sorry. Okay. Come on up. Come on up. I'm sorry. I apologize.
Okay, thank you. My name is Karen Peoples, and I do ride the bus. I come before the board this morning just to, because I thought this was a regular general meeting. And I come before the board this morning just to tell you that you have some very good drivers out there that's driving the bus. I ride the bus approximately 7 days a week. And we're very greatly needed of the bus services. So I wanted to let you know that I will be coming to board meeting from this point on until the end of the year. And I'm going to be getting some other bus riders interested in coming to the meetings. But I wanted to come and let the board know that I am very appreciative of the bus drivers, the bus services, and that I want to be a part of the daily change of the services that you all are making. I wish to be a part of that. And I also want to let you know that you have a lot of riders that's on the bus. So I observe a lot of things that's going on the bus. But I want you to know that you have the call station, Bernard, Carl, Tony, Kira, Chanel, Donna, Lisa, and you have a whole lot more. And these people are working diligently, making sure that the riders get the proper procedure of where they gotta go. And I just want to be coming here from this point on to get familiar with what's going on here and the decisions that you all are making. I definitely wish to be a part of this. And thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Okay, is there anybody else? Appearing to be none. Thank you. Moving on, in the packet are minutes from the March 18th, 2024 Finance and Audit Committee meeting. Is there a motion? If everybody's had a chance to review it, is there a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved.
Second? All in favor, please indicate by aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. Motion passes. Thank you very much. Okay, next is a presentation, the audit executive summary from Ms. Lauren Strope from Cherry Beckert. This presentation is supportive action item 5A, which the committee will consider after the conclusion of the presentation. Good morning, Lauren. Welcome.
Good morning, committee members. My name is Lauren Strope, and I had the pleasure of serving as your audit partner this year. Real quick, so today, here's our agenda, but really I'm just going to walk you through the nature, the extent, the timing, and then finally the results of the audit procedures that we performed. If at any time you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. So this is your client service team. So again, I am Lauren Strope, and I served as your audit partner. I also wanted to mention our second review director. So he does what's called a cold review, which means that he comes in and double checks all of the audit decisions and that we made throughout the entire course of the audit to kind of keep us and make sure that we have all of our T's crossed and our I's dotted. So the slide that everyone is very interested in, the results of the audit. So we, as your auditor, are prepared to render our audit opinion today after we receive the management representation letter. And we plan to issue an unmodified report on your financial statements. Unmodified is the same as what unqualified used to be. It sounds weird, but basically it's a clean audit opinion, and it's the only type of audit opinion that you want. We follow a variety of different standards when we complete your audit. In addition to generally accepted auditing standards, which require us to opine on whether or not your financials are free from material misstatements, we also have to follow government auditing standards. And those require us to kind of take a deep dive into the internal controls that you have over financial reporting. We do have one comment in that letter, and we'll get into that in a little bit. We also issue an examination under your investment policies here in the state of Florida, and that was a unmodified opinion as well, or a clean opinion. We issue a management letter under Rules of the Auditor General, Chapter 10.550, and that is a no comment letter as well. So I mentioned we talk about the government auditing standards, and again, those kind of require us to look over internal controls as it relates to financial reporting. We don't opine on those internal controls, but if we do become aware of a significant deficiency or a material weakness in those internal controls, we are required to let you, those with governance, know. We did become aware of one deficiency that we do believe to be a material weakness in internal control, and we'll get into that in a second. But essentially, a material weakness is a deficiency such that there's a chance that a material misstatement could impact the financial statements prior to being discovered. So the material weakness that you have is an material weakness in internal control over financial reporting as it relates to the financial close process. And this relates to strain on the current personnel to complete their responsibilities in an accurate and timely manner. During the year, we had several journal entries and then a couple past journal entries that we'll go through here in a second that related to this material weakness. So the corrected journal entries that we had, and what this means is after management provides us, the auditor, with the trial balance, if we have to say these entries need to be made to bring this in alignment with GAAP or generally accepted accounting principles, that would be considered an audit adjustment. So we had two of those this year, one related to a payroll accrual that was improperly booked to cash as opposed to setting up the payable. And then there was a post-closing entry related to alternative fuel tax credits that were not applied for until the subsequent year. There were also two uncorrected misstatements. It's the exact same situation, only management does not make the entry. We had two of those. One relates to, it's the same issue we had last year in the 401A plan being unwound and a potential liability relating to the unwind of that. And then finally, as we relate to trade receivables, as it relates to the Flamingo Fairs, there was a receivable that actually did not relate to any outside party. Upon further investigation, there was an offsetting payable, but during the close process, those two should have been reversed. So that was an uncorrected misstatement. If you look in your package in the finding itself, there's also a part that has a corrective action plan, which is management's response to both the finding and then what they plan on doing on a go forward in order to correct the issue. I know I just went over a lot of information. I'm happy to answer any questions you might have as it relates to the material weakness.
My name is Gary Hartfield. So what's the level or threshold that defines materiality?
Sure. So the threshold is a percentage of your revenues. So I forget what the exact dollar amount is off the top of my head, but it's important to remember that with a material weakness, it might not even mean that the matter is above that threshold, but it's the potential that it could be above that threshold. Sure. It has to relate to the unwinding of the 401A plan that you used to have and how that was unwound, and potential liability that stems from that. And that came from the legal confirmation that we sent out last year. And then that was again indicated as a potential liability this year.
So how does that become a liability for us?
Sure. Sure. This would be a little bit more during the unwinding of any sort of 401A or 401K plan. If it's not done correctly, you have potential IRS penalties, fines, liabilities relating to that unwind of that plan.
Have a separate,
No, this was separate from that. But it is separate from the FRS plan and then the other plan that you have. Other questions? Just some of the qualitative aspects of accounting practices. If you were to pick up your report between this year and last year, one difference that you will find is GASB 96 or SEBITA's subscription-based IT arrangements. So any of your long-term subscription-based IT arrangements, so think of things like software and things like that, that is now capitalized and on the books and amortized as opposed to being just expensed when occurred. As part of our audit, we look at any sort of related party relationships and transactions. We did not know any of them that were not previously disclosed to us by management, so good news there. As far as significant or unusual transactions are concerned, this is always a little interesting because it's very different depending on the type of entity that you're working with and what is significant or unusual for that particular entity. As it relates to HART, there were no significant or unusual transactions during the fiscal year 2023 that we need to discuss. Inherently, the financial statements are not just hard numbers. There's a lot of management judgment and estimate that's required by US GAAP. And we as the auditor spend a lot of time looking over those estimates and making sure that they're reasonable in relation to the financials as a whole. So you can see a list of the ones that we spent a significant amount of time on, and that relates to the estimate of the pension, the OPEB liability, your lease and SEBITA's, the estimate of compensated absence liability, the estimate of the useful lives of your PP&E, which obviously impacts your depreciation expense, the estimate of allowance for your claims and judgments that's based on an actuarial liability, allowance for doubtful accounts, the fair value of estimates, and then again, we did find all of them clear as in neutral, consistent, and clear as it relates to both the estimates and the financial statement disclosures. As far as independence is concerned, we did perform a couple of non-attest services, including uploading any of the information for the SEBITA's into the lease software. And we will also complete the auditor section of the DCF or data collection form. We are not aware of anything that would impede our independence, either in appearance or in fact. Just some other required communications. We did not have any difficulties when dealing with management. They made sure that we got what we needed every time we had a question. We did not have any disagreements with management over accounting treatment. To our knowledge, they did not have to go to outside of consultants. We, as the auditor, did not have to go to those outside of our audit engagement team to complete our audit. As far as management representations are concerned, management will provide a letter. We provided a template. It will be dated today, and it basically says that everything that they told us throughout the course of the audit was true to the best of their knowledge and belief. Again, I believe I already mentioned this, but we're not aware of management consulting with others as far as accounting treatment is concerned. Other findings and issues, we as auditors have to go through a process every year of client acceptance, but there is nothing that was discussed during the course of that I need to bring to your knowledge. As auditors, we don't audit for fraud or illegal acts, but we have a heightened sense and awareness of them and look for them at all times. We did not find anything. We do talk to folks throughout the engagement, including members of the board, about their knowledge of fraud or illegal acts. Had something been told to us, this would not be the first time we're talking, and or we would have worked procedures in to address those risks, depending on the severity. There are no events or conditions noted that would indicate a substantial doubt about HART's ability to continue as a going concern entity. In addition to the basic financial statements and the footnotes, you do have some supplementary information, that being the CFA, or the Schedule of Expenditures of Federal Awards, and then the state CFA. You also have some required supplementary information, which is your MD&A and some of the schedules that are about the pension plans. Finally, in your ACFR, which is the Annual Comprehensive Financial Report, There is also an intro and a statistical section, oh my goodness, within that report. And we actually don't opine on that because there's a lot of non-financial information there. I'm always talking about what happened last year, but just a little bit about what's coming up in the future. There are some upcoming reporting changes, none that are going to be as impactful as either Lisa's or Savito's were, but we will be talking to management specifically about the certain risk disclosures and then the compensated absence liability that's coming up. And with that, I'm happy to answer any and all questions that you might have.
Any questions for the auditors? Could you go over could you back up one screen?
Yes, sir.
That was going to be my question, is what Gatsby is coming down the pike. What's 101?
Sure. GASB 101, that's going to impact you in 2025, but that actually relates to compensated absences.
Okay.
Yeah, so it just has to do with the calculation of the compensated absence liability, so it's looking at it a little bit differently.
Okay.
It shouldn't have a huge impact on the organization, though.
Okay. I didn't think leases or subscriptions would either, but they're... Okay.
Understood.
Yes, no doubt. Okay. Anybody else have any questions for the auditors? Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you for your presentation. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate your time.
What we do have is committee action item number 5. The agenda is for the review by the committee, recommendation approval by the full board of directors. Item 5A is to recommend the HART Board of Directors receive and file fiscal year ending September 30th, 2023 annual comprehensive financial report of the ACFR. In addition to the previous presentation, there's a write-up of the proposed resolution as well as the actual report in support of the item. Do the committee members have any questions or comments for staff? Appearing to be none. Is there a motion to recommend to the HART Board of Directors to approve item 5A and advance it to the full Board of Directors at the next board meeting?
So moved.
Second? All in favor, please indicate with an aye by saying aye.
Aye.
Like sign opposed. Appearing to be none. Motion passes. Thank you very much. If I could just add one thing onto here with the material weakness. Ms. Kirk, did you want to take a moment to talk about the corrective action, as this is the Finance Committee? I know I didn't tell you we would do this ahead of time, so I apologize. I don't mean to put you on the spot, but it might be worthwhile for us to at least so we understand and what we're doing to eliminate and alleviate going forward.
Thank you, Director Schuster, and to the CEO, and to the committee. Refer to page 158 of the board package, or the committee package, which is section 4, page 11 of the annual comprehensive financial report. That's a letter that I'm required to submit to the auditors and has been included in the annual report in terms of corrective action. And as was stated, the internal control weakness is really related to staffing and our ability to recruit and have a full staff for accounting, so that we have ample time and staff to review, reconcile, and approve the financial transactions. Over the last 3 years since I've been here, we've been actively recruiting and reporting to the committee on our efforts to staff the financial operations departments, specifically the accounting section. And as of today, we only have 1 vacancy. So we have our supervisor in place, we have our director here, Laura Ensign, if you can see her, she's right in the back there. And we are committed to making sure that on a monthly basis we reconcile the records and take any corrective action necessary. You notice 2 of the sections of the fine. There's 1 fine in all related to internal control, but it was 4 situations under, and 2 were just simply errors, misstatements, and were not caught incorrect at time. And anything that the auditors see after we close the records can be considered an artifact. And so although we may try to negotiate it, they do include it as audit value. So in terms of corrective action, we we are going to, just review our reconciliation processes, update our operating procedures, develop checklists. We have discussed this with the chair and the CEO in terms of checklists for closing our records to prevent any errors, the type of errors that you see reported. So the corrective action is certainly to, as I stated, to make sure we have full staff, recruit as soon as possible. And John works with us very closely to make sure we recruit as soon as there's a vacancy in the county, because you can see how important it is to have the staff here. And then, as I stated, to update the standard operating procedures, include myself in the review process to make sure that we can prevent, to the extent that we can, the errors that you see that were reported by the auditors. So if you can see the projected completion date, which my CEO is going to hold me to, is June 30th of 2024. And we expect to have those procedures in place. I personally will do some training, and hopefully we won't see these type of audits findings in the future.
Thank you very much. Half of fixing a problem is understanding it, identifying it, and then implementing it. So I feel confident that we'll get that taken care of. One of the peculiarities of putting people in these positions is the need for transit experience, and they're few and far between sometimes. Coincidentally, the same day that this bubbled up and became known to the committee, there was an article in the Wall Street Journal regarding several big companies that can't file their 10Ks because they don't have enough accountants. People retired, people left the industry, and they're not being replaced in the system. So there's Tupperware, Advanced Auto, they can't file the 10Ks because they don't have the staff to do it. So it's not just us, and we're not being singled out, but it's an issue that crosses many industries. So I have confidence that Ms. Kirk will do what necessary to take care of it. Yes, ma'am.
I just want to note, if I can, that although we have an audit finding, I don't want it to overshadow the fact that this is a clean audit.
Oh, yes, I was getting that.
Okay, well, I'll let you
That was going to be my final comment. That was going to be my final comment.
Okay.
You know, we air the dirty laundry, but the bottom line is a clean, an unmodified opinion, which is as good as you're going to get for anything. So to the staff, thank you very much. We're going to stub our toe every once in a while, but as long as we can fix it, we're okay. The pain will go away very shortly. But to the staff, very good job. Excellent audit.
Thank you.
Yes, Mr. Hartfield.
Yes, Mr. Chair, Mr. Kirk, your CEO, how can we help as it relates to staffing? What can we do as a committee and as a board to help you identify and source qualified staff?
I would say just in the engagements that you're in the community, just to promote HART. Since I've been here, I always wanted to make HART the employer of choice. To just be engaged in your conversations that HART is a place to have a profession and a career.
One of the resources I want to make available to you, I serve on the Career Source Campus Day Board. They are an excellent resource here in our county, but even more specifically, our Chief Financial Officer there, Sheila Doyle. I think she would be a tremendous resource. If necessary, I'd like to make the contact. She may help us source it to source it at times.
Noted. Thank you. Good deal. Okay. Anything else regarding the ACFA? Excellent. Thank you very much. Thank you, Lauren. Appreciate your help, as always. Moving on, see action item 5B. In your packet, there's a write-up, proposed resolution to form a recommendation for the HART Board of Directors to authorize the CEO to award a 2-year base with a 1-year option contract to Central Florida Landscaping for landscaping services in a not-to-exceed amount of $301,853.69. Do committee members have any comments or questions for staff? Is there any presentation?
I can give a quick overview.
Please.
So this contract award is for the weekly mowing and landscaping services of over 13 HART properties. Central Florida Landscaping Incorporated will provide all labor, supervision, equipment, tools, materials, supplies, licenses, permits to perform these landscape maintenance. The contract will also perform mowing, tree trimming, mulching, irrigation, inspection service at all the locations.
Okay, any questions or comments? It be appearing to be, the city manager, is there a motion to recommend that the HART Board of Directors approve item 5B and advance it to the full HART Board for the next board meeting?
I do have a question. Mr. Chairman.
Oh, please.
Have we challenged, is this a good price?
Yes, so this is, it's reasonable price, and we've done this in the past, so we've an independent cost estimate, and it's definitely reasonable.
Okay, very good, thank you.
Do we have a motion?
Motion to move forward.
Do we, is there a motion to second? All in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, like sign? Thank you, motion passes. Action item 5C, to form a recommendation for the HART Board to authorize the CEO to award a contract to United Data Technologies, Inc. for Cisco access switches in a not-to-exceed amount of $110,539. There is a write-up in review. Is there any commentary that anybody, please?
Quick follow-up. So this contract award is for the purchase of the Cisco access switches for HART's server room at 21st Avenue. The access switches support network connectivity and employees' phones and the training rooms at the HART administrative facility. The new access switches are a replacement and upgrade from the current switches in use that have reached the end of life. So this would actually be an upgrade to the old system.
Okay. Any questions or comments for staff? Appearing to be none, do we have a motion to recommend to the full HART Board of Directors at the next board meeting?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All approved, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you very much. Final action item 5D, write-up proposed resolution to package for recommendation of the HART Board to authorize the CEO to exercise 2 one-year options for the contract of benefit broker services with Gallagher Benefit Services. Any commentary, Mr. Dringo?
Yeah, so back in July 22nd, 2021, HART executed a contract with Gallagher Benefit Services, the benefit broker services. The contract term is for 3-year base with 2-year one options, and this is for the health care costs of all the employees.
Any questions or comments for staff? Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion is second. All in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion passes. Thank you very much. Next on the agenda is procurement monitoring. Mr. Drainville, you're recognized to share your updates.
Thank you, Chair. And this is a rare one. So for sole source procurements, there was no sole source procurements to report since the actual March meeting. When considering task orders, there was no A&E or BTI task orders that were actually awarded.
3 for 3?
But there's been some notice of solicitations. I have 3 notices of solicitations. The first is for a contractor to supply extra heavy-duty commercial-grade lead-acid 12-volt transit batteries. The successful contractor will also pick up and properly dispose of all the used batteries. The term of the contract is 3-year base with 2 one-year options. The estimated contract value is $2,705,257, and it's a 4-year term. The next solicitation is a consortium solicitation to purchase ultra-low sulfur diesel fuel and unleaded gasoline. HART will be the lead agency, and Lakeland Area Mass Transit, Hillsborough County Commissioners, City of St. Petersburg, Polk County Board of Commissioners, and Pinellas Suncoast Transit Authority will also piggyback on the resulting contracts. The term of the contract is 1-year base with 4 one-year options. And the last one is a solicitation for the actuarial study to be performed for HART self-insured workers' compensation and general liability programs. The term for this contract is 3 years. The estimated contract value is $44,000, $625. And that concludes my report.
I have a question regarding the diesel and unleaded fuel. The basis of the contract's $29 million. Is there any, if I'm reading this correctly, is there any potential liability to us if the other entities don't buy?
No, and there's specific language in the contract that states that they place their own orders, they pay their own invoices, and any problems are with that agency.
Yeah, I've always wondered about that, but the piggyback contracts, you know, we deal with them with the city and everything else, but we've never been the focal point for it, so I just want to make sure that we're not incurring any potential liability.
No,
Or
no.
we're running out the door if we do, so it's,
Yeah, we just administer the contracts once they're awarded.
okay, good, thank you very much. Cool, any comments, questions for staff regarding this list of stuff? All right, cool. Is there any old business? Appearing to be none, is there any new business? Hearing none, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you very much, everybody, appreciate your help.